Muri yeZimbabwe kusangana kwetiri kuita zvakare ipo pano paZimu News Update apo patakakubatira nyaya huru nyaya hombe yadai kunetsa apo patiri kuona vamunangagwa vatarisana kuti vange vachiona kuti vanovhoterwa here nema-MPs kuti vanga vachipinda paupresident wanga vachisvika 2030 dzavo because tiri kuona kuti vari kuda majority yemuparliament. So tiri panhauwa tiri kutsanangura nhauwa iyoyo takabva tanzwa wiki nochibva aya achiti ada kupa ma-MPs ese waya vari kuda kuvhotera president Emmerson Mnangagwa vada kupiwa ma10,000. So tiri kunzwa kuti ma-MPs ese vasaina ndopetinonyasa kuona kuti politics dzematumbu izi politics of the stomach. Munhu achiuya kuno campaigna ari wetriple C aiti ndikuenda kuparliament kunomirira vanhu but tiri kuona kuti zvinhu zvacho hazvina kumira zvakanaka. So tine mashoko akati wandei ari panapa mhuri yeZimbabwe regedzai tipinde panapa mumbonzwawo vanhu vakarwa hondo vachitaura nhauwa dzavari kutaura then tichazopinda munyaya chaiyo chaiyo ndichazokunzirai vari kupatsanura nyaya yasewiki nochibvayo yekuti sei vari kupa ma-MPs mari nemasenators vachange vachipatsanura pano nhaurwa yacho Stephen Zwira. Akwendiri kwacho network ma1 and noise yacho iriko hazvina kumira zvakanaka. So tiri kuona pana pamhuri yeZimbabwe regedzeitira kuti tifambe nenhauwa dzacho bijana mumbonzwawo maovetrain vachitaura uyu ndi uyu tombonzwa maovetrain vachitaura ava but hapana kana chavari kuwana handi mazona hapana kana chavari kuwana maovetrain iyaya regedzeiti
12 one day ndiko kwacho ikoko kwakafira makomrades akawanda ndopa vakasara vakawanda vasikana vaya imagine 12 one day tikasara tiri 8.
Rudo akazoita sei paakaendeswa
Rudo uya waita wafunza nyaya yerudo. Rudo wabva kwaMutare tasununguka tiri padza pasi tobva tanzwa macomrades maybe vakaita investigate I don't know since akanga akeptiwa that area iyoyo vakanzwa kunzi ari mukempi ari kugara mukempi
nemasoja
asimiti macomrades akantombonzi vanani kwaisu inotanga imwe hondo vakabva vaenda kukembi kwacho ikoko ndofunga hapana kuri hapo pfuti asi vakanoita ndofunga tongoti mutual understanding Rudo akariliswa vabva vatora Rudo ndobva atorwa nana comrade Shiri parents vabva vamutora obva auya kuAir Force. Unoona coincidence zvinoita Mwari comrade Shiri ndobva vauya naye kuprimary nekuti baba iwo fiti sorry ndakuvatengesa vasipa iwo fiti mafriends avo vanga vari ukoko kumaofficers uko saka ini ndaingosikamwa mudzimai wachef ndobva comrade parents Shiri vati maikudesera tikumbira avo ndobva vandidedza kuofisi kwako bva ndaenda vakati iwo uri comrade ahead kuti wakaopareta nanarudo tikati zvikanzisaka Rudo hapana umwe munhu watinombomupa Rudo tinomupa iwe as a qualified teacher uona kuti ubatsira umwe wako sei we want to promote taite office but we can't because hagoni kunyora zita rake inini ndaiticha grade 5 6 7 kwandaigumira ndakadzoswa kuenda kuKG grade 1 ne2 ndobva ndaenda ikoko kunotanga masyllables babe bibo narudo coincidence yakadaro mabva mese kuhondoko madii mese matambura mese nasi tate sefuti takarova idimwe hondo yediyo iyi takazoirova Rudo akapedzisira kutogona kunyora akutogonawo kutonyora zita rake kana kunyora tsamba kana kunyorawo kana chirungu chaicho because inini ndakamuticha ndandine grade 2 akatangira mugrade 2 ndakangomupiwa kuti angouya mumaoko mavo bva tatotanga naye bva azoendawo mugrade 3 vo achingoenda kusvika ari kuAir Force ndakangozorwadziwa mwoyo kuti ndakangonzwa kuti avigwa ipapa isi tiri kugara muno iye wovigwa pano apa pawari pai ini ndakagara munomba ndakarwadziwa singaiti ndakarwadziwa singaiti.
Mhuri yeZimbabwe ndofunga tiri kunzwa nhauwa yarudo rudo ari kunzi akaenda kuhondo aine 14 years. Mhuri yeZimbabwe unenge wapindwa nechimweya cheche kuenda kuhondo ine 14 years anenge ari ma1 harisinyore mhuri yeZimbabwe. So tiri kuona panapa hatichaendi kuyu kweZANU-PF tida kuti tinzwe nhaurwa yawikino chivayo ichipatsanurwa panapa kupa kwari kuita vanhu mari ma-MPs because tiri kudzwa kuti wamunangagwa vari kusaina amendment yabill iri musi wa18 May ndo pavari kurisaina hazvina rivhesi avari kurisaina. So tiri kuona kuti warisaine hungaravhotwa nema-MPs. Ma-MPs aya wese watosaina kuti wanga wachipiwa mari saka which means it's obvious hani mazviona it's obvious regedzai tinzwe vachipatsanura nhauwa iyi.
With this kind of thing.
Munaita zvishoma ourselves. Baba, we are and at the moment that we are at, ndo yacho yekuti izvo, it has to force you to ask my questions. Because this constitutional moment, they are doing everything possible. Makaona kuti izvo takunoita ma-development ma-constituencies ari kulidwa nemunhu anoita ma-developments anoita ma-empowerment programs akamirira ZANU-PF panounganwa then mima kuchiudzwa kuti takuuyawo kuma-constituents kwenyu, and yet when this thing started it was never inclusive.
Exactly.
It was never inclusive. So you would find that everything that is now going on is designed to produce one outcome and one outcome only.
Exactly. And this, I think this is the other thing. The more you think about it, to know to check what any BP, because you think this energy from this energy, if that energy was channeled to development in the last 3 years, the tenure President Mnangagwa, he was going to leave a lasting legacy.
Yes.
If a lasting legacy, Achimana, Achwakama Hospital, my roads, all this effort, but that energy is channeled towards a consolidation of power. That's the problem. That's I think that's where you think maybe I don't know whether they lack that statecraft, whether they lack that intelligence, or maybe because they believe too much in brawn instead of brains. So their capacity to think beyond consolidation of power. Maybe they don't believe in soft power. Which I want to live this in style. I want to be talked about for the next generation and another generation. Let me I want to be like Mahathir of Zimbabwe, like the Mahathir of Singapore. We now 30 years, 40 years later, people are still talking about him. I want to be like that. No, for them it's just okay. It's about consolidation of power. Maria Satinayo, if Ngati say to this thing. That's why I'm saying, Kutika, I'm kind of resigning to the fact that this thing is gonna pass through, because Maria Valpisa all this effort, and we know if you look at the timetable as well, the court hearing, it'll quit after Chief Justice Ayenda.
Mm-hmm.
So it's, people maybe put justice is gone, but this if you come to think of it, this justice had nothing to protect. I thought, okay, the Kappa judgment, I'm going. So in other words, you could say there wasn't kind of a compelling kind of force for him to think to be partial in terms of his judgment real of the case. But now someone achapinda with anopinda are acting, and anenge are part of the bench, anenge to please the appointer. You see, so
Mhm.
I'm very, so I'm kind of thinking, you know what? As much as we are looking forward to the court case, hopefully, but I'm worried about the excessive influence yes Uganda over that court hearing because they can do everything. They can use carrot, kuwapa mari, they can use a stick to threaten them as well because there is a lot of happening in the background. Saka, tombo on Uncle Jets. Tombo.
Ndo reason yazviri kuitirwa kazvecha amendment bill number 3 that is the only reason why these guys are doing this.
Exactly.
They just want to consolidate whatever gains that they are getting. Vachoda kudya
Yes.
kuti aiva timbotisiyawo timbodya isusu inguva yedu onhi yekudya.
Yeah, but Chikavanava, you see, it's what they call primitive accumulation. Whenever they've made lots and lots of money, which if they wanted to just go quietly and do business quietly, they can still survive and do very well. But it's just that sense of greediness, very greedy, extremely greedy.
They are greedy to the core.
Exactly. Because
they are.
They've made so much money. They could say, you know what? It's just let's go quietly and we just focus on business. We do lots. We make money in business, and we can we can invest. We can do lots of things. But they still want more and more and more and more. And just imagine, let's say, God forbid, let's say Tagure is now the president of our country.
God forbid.
Let's say Tagore is and you see could Tagore influence yake, and that Tagore doesn't even think about my conflict of interest because for example his committee, for example, he's the chairperson of the committee here in my title deeds, right? His company ndo chaita my title deeds in Greek digital title deeds. His bank CBZ is the one inenge finance in Greek that my loans and in all other things when I land is collateral. So it's one person. It's one person isn't at the center of everything. So just imagine now what more can I control over what happens in our country? Uncle just kana imba kana imvile kana kwenda kana kuti cholita amushandisa ndiye anenge atu ane influence yacho.
Yes. That is where we are going.
Because he can only
and it's such a sad situation this is happening, unfolding in front of our eyes, so many people, but some people think Kutizo they are powerless.
Yeah,
they can't do anything about it, but that is what is unfolding.
Yes. And and I mean, you can tell the man, is very, very ambitious because even he's going everywhere. Maybe the only churches he has failed to penetrate Catholic Church, Methodist, all these strong traditional churches he has failed to penetrate there. But kwese kumapostoli ari kuenda chapa millions. AFM, all the
varikupinda vana amuna kuona vemabhachi ebhuruu ayo vanopfeka mabhachi ebhuruu ayo nenge vachilainiswa apo vachipiwa mari.
Yes, Anglican Church. Yes, Anglican Church. Yes.
vachipiwa mari saka they are penetrating, they're getting in there.
Yeah,
hapana kwavasiri kusvika vanhu vacho.
Exactly.
hapana kwavasiri kusvika. Saka
but something has to give in. We can't have our country held to ransom by a few individuals. Something has to give in.
Nekaliba yemanhingirikini yedu yema-MPs yedu atinawo. Come on guys. Chakatokala chinichi. Chakatokala. They are smiling all the way to the bank.
And the only thing we are hoping maybe an internal Greek rebellion might stop this really.
I rebellion. Who?
I'm talking of internal rebellion within the party itself.
All right, okay.
Yeah, within ZANU-PF as a political party. Because
there seems to be a lot, that is going on, on that front. I'm not quite sure. I'm not yet. I'm still trying to figure out what is going to say. But it seems as if all is not well.
Of course, it's not well, because I think Tagore, because I think obviously now he's a member of the Central Committee, and
Oh, yes, he is, yeah.
and the next step for him is to get into the Politburo. But there are so many people who are so I'm even manisa I start out to position
Iyo manje, that is going to be his undoing manje.
exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
iyo.
And
Well, timu rache rori guys in vanogona kumurova exactly yavakaita panani.
pana mama.
Yes,
Pana mama.
you understand?
Yeah, pana munhu wese kuna mai.
Yes. Iyo ni makwigwi.
Yes. Because vana manisi vakatanga kutaura hanzi position haitengwe nemari.
Andiri maona.
Saka iyo and here is trying. I mean it's if you be foolish not to see where this man is campaigning, he's traveling, the length and breadth of Zimbabwe. Or one day unomuona ku ZANU-PF activity, the other day unomuona ku another maybe a religious activity. Even this advocate Fulcrum Mpofu was not happy because Fulcrum is an SDA, was not happy kuti Tagore get crashed in an event yevana vake vanga vaenda ku camp,
Oh yes, yeah, I saw that one.
So he's everywhere. He's everywhere. He's trying to kind of gain popularity and lay the ground. By the time Panozon's pan Kwauda president, Anenga very popular. The more he's doing that, the more he's actually kind of creating enemies within the party as well. Because Nevan Bakatotia is our child, and these people have been loyal to the party for many years. And Mafike is loyal Otora Nyanga.
Right. Akuna Belinda. And this guy, thank you very much.
Right,
thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks for the space as well. Thank you.
I don't tell them come. Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Right, Belinda, how are you?
Hi, how are you, Maspera?
Mushe muriseva.
Tiri bored kungoona zvekuitika.
Urungoona henyu.
Kungoona vanhu ava vapa final push uncle.
Handete?
Yato final push kwavakuenda kwacho, because to be honest kana chinzi inopuwa constituent 10,000 imari. Vanhu vari kupuwa ma 50k ekunzi saifiwo. It's clear kuti vakubribe kuti handiti bill rakuenda parliament here.
Rakuenda parliament here.
10,000 inganzi inobatsira chim constituents.
Aiwa bana.
Yekuti haitombokwane kana mari yestand 1 ndo yakuti munhu wese anotora. Itori bribe clearly and obviously netiming yacho. But now zviri kunzveni zviya zvainzi musi wa18 unofanira kunge yapasa Mnangagwa achizosaina musi wa19. Don't you think kuti zvinobudirira here? Zvinotobudirira kazvinezvi.
But that must be challenged because we expect because we expect kuti izvo chero ngoti izvo zvacho hapana kuexpecta anyway, but inofanira kuenda through mungatarisa inofanira kuenda through a rigorous process. Yobva
but vari kumbozviteerera here anko muchiona imimi. I think apa vakuita race against time kuti Malaba akuda kuenda ndo maweeks ake kaiwawa. Ndo pacho pekuti Malaba akuda kuenda vada kumhanyira izvozvo neconcort yatiri kufanira kusita musi wa20 ndizvo, if I'm not wrong.
But Malaba anenge abaya kudara.
Anokwenda ari musi wa15 handiti?
Because 10 yake inopera musi wa15.
Munongozara ngozviextenda. But ndikuona kunge plans avo they are way ahead or for vanhu vari kuda kuzocontesta bill iri. That's just my view kuti vacho vari kucontesta whether vari kuzviita nekumashure vasina kuva open. I'm thinking good time is running out. By the time vanhu vachazoda kupepuka chinenge chatosainika chinichi and it will be too late or inenge zvatova a problem kuda kuzozvigadzirisa iro ratosainwa pane pasisina.
Time inenge yatobaya.
Time apa inenge yatobaya. I don't know kuti zvichafamba sei as we go, but vari kutoenda mberi as long as uyaisa mari apa maybe angada kutonzwa anoti vachaisa futi imwe mari apa vachizotambira pano amunoona anoramba here because apa vachahide against nyaya yekuti haisi personal mari yandapuwa, it's not for my personal use, imari yeconstituents saka tototambira ndozva vachangotambira vachiita vese even opposition wacho.
ndozvavachahaidha nazvo izvozvo kuti aiwa imari
vachirongwaita chiti hatina kungopuhwa ezin kana kuti salary increase or what yanzi ndeye-constituency saka totambira kuti tibatse constituency. I think that's what they're going to do. And hapana kana one.
achazinga achiita oversight yemari iyoyo ndiani. That is different.
And this is the thing, legally somebody wanopampa nambona pane munaposta pax achiti zvoni legally is it even allowed kuti civilian anoendependesa mari yakawanda kudaro achiti ngaipiwe ma-MP akamira sana.
Vakaipa.
Pane nyaya inde. Yeah, exactly. Nyaya iripo. I think watakwenda kwacho kwatooma, and I'm thinking inini hangu handina hope nema-opposition MPs. I think vachangotora under the disguise sekuti yanzi mari yema-constituency, saka it is what it is.
Vakaipa.
But now it's a situation nevanhu vakaita, for example, I'll pick one, I'll guess all two. Wana agents kumbo kuti achaitora here iye vachiti no to 2030. It's interesting times ahead kuona kuti vari vocal kuti hatidi 2030. Are they going to take this ichi chinhu chavapuwa or vachamba varamba kuti hatidi? Anyway.
Chenongoti nemamwe mashenenigans anoitika behind the scenes, so mamwe acho anenge chimonzwa kuti vanodai vanobada. But apana any legal, there's no clear legal provision. I don't think there is any law that prohibits a private individual from, but knowing fully well kutizoni we've got the Political Parties Finances Act. It says something, I don't know, is a local donation, it's okay, it's fine. I don't know.
Kana mota dzichauya apa anko dzichauya. Cause chinhu ichi chinenge ndiwo chabenefita kana chikafamba. Saka kutotanga starter kuona kuti vachaita sei. Ozonata kunopinda mawiki acho a week before vanzi vese mota. Saka it's interesting times ahead. Tomboona zvichafamba sei.
Ndizvozvo. Aiwa, no problem.
Thank you
very much.
Bye.
Right. Guys, if you're just joining me, thank you very much for coming through. We are just here talking about the pledge that Kibayo, has done. Yekupa Parliament 3.6 million, and each and the money is going to be given to each and every member of Parliament. My senators, each one is going to be receiving, 10,000, US dollars. I've been trying to look at, if it is not, if there's any law that says, this shouldn't happen. There's no law that is explicit, whether a donation can be made or it cannot be made. But when it comes to the issue at Kutaranezhayo, I believe it raises constitutional problem, which is the independence of that institution. I'll repeat again, the Parliament is supposed to be acting independently. My MPs are supposed to exercise free judgment, and there shouldn't be any undue influence over any legislative process. And these guys are about to go through a legislative process. And at the 11th hour, they are getting money. So when they get this donation at this hour, what are the risks involved? Those are what I am talking about. The undermining of that body's independence, that Augusta House's independence. And you might as well say it is amounting to state capture. Because the timing, immediately before the debate, over this Mario, ye kuningi kwenyu, ye kuma constituents kwenyu. What does the parliamentary code of conduct say? Because one a conflict of interest gap and improper influence as well. We've got thing here, anti-corruption, practice, the anti-corruption thing, in Zimbabwe. This must be investigated. We have got the principle, irimo, public administration. All these things, ladies and gentlemen, they speak to a conflict of interest. They require transparency, they require integrity, and avoidance of situations where private benefit influences the public duty. So there's everything wrong with what has happened or with what is about to be happening. Kuti mari is going to be given to the Speaker of Parliament for distribution. It's going to be given to the Speaker of Parliament for distribution. And with that again, so many questions arise. Parliament mudenda. Does he have the legal authority to receive private funds? And what under what statutory framework or instrument is he going to be administering that money? Because constituency development, we know the statutory framework that speaks to that. 3.6 million. Irikubva kupi, mubengi ripi, and is going to be handed over. How is he going to be handing it over? Irikuya iri briefcase here. Irikuya iri mutrangere. Awana kana chinga chipiwa mari ichaiswa pai. Vachapiwa munenge iri muenvelope here. And how are these monies even going to be audited? Those are the questions that we need to ask. Why is it not going through the Constituency Development Fund, which has the legal oversight mechanism? Why is it not going through that? Why is it Mudenda who's going to be dispersing this money? Why? Because unga needs us as the people who are watching, it speaks, it touches on the aspect of public perception and the legitimacy of everything that is about to be happening. Because to me, clearly, this is just if it is in because there's going to be voting in Parliament for the Constitution Amendment number 3 bill. So to me, this is vote buying. I'm not saying any vote buying is. Nigga bribery can go soft as so. Ka bribery can go soft. Can read papa. And they want to sway that constitutional decision making. Yema MPs are. The aspect of public trust is the constitutional value. So, any actions are not to undermine the trust. It can lead to something being unconstitutional, even if it is not criminal. So, the law gurus, you have to look into this, and it can be one of the development that can lead to a legal challenge. They're just creating a minefield of these legal challenges. So is it legal? Even in the absence of any explicit law. You are seeing kuti tikada kunyatsoisa pachikero chaipo chemweya mutsvene chokuweya chaicho munoziona kuti chinhu ichi chiri kuitwa nawiki inochibva ichi chine problem politically, ethically. There are questions that gets to be asked, and constitutionally there are questions that gets to be asked, and those are the questions that we are asking, because we are sitting here where it is not clearly stipulated kuti chinhu ichi chinofamba sei. We are sitting in a gray zone. The statute is not there to clearly tell us kuti is this action prohibited, but potentially there's a constitutional issue here, and it is deeply problematic, and we have to see and call it out for what it is. Vote buying, influence peddling, soft bribery, in an attempt to sway constitutional decision making, and that is wrong. That is problematic. Pane dambudziko apa, pane problem apa. Just let the process go. Just let it flow. Those akaita paya voterwa munhu ngokuziva paya. Akati maziva ningi ndakukupromisai zvakati, akati maningi ndakukupromisai zvakati, akati maningi ndakukupromisai zvakati. Kuzosvika isn't it that guy was even forced to accept the things, because it goes against the ethics and whatever. Zvemutemo ningweni, I mean against zvemutemo ningwenabvu. I am a private citizen, so I can do literally what I want. It must be challenged iyoyo, because uri kutamba nebhodi isingafaniri kutambwa nayo. Uri kutamba nebhodi isingafaniri kutambwa nayo. Just like that, you come through and say, oh, ndakukupai mari ma-MPs. Anyway, handisi kusarudza kuda kuti vharo yokuti hanzi handisi kusarudza, it's more of an ingirikini. It's more of wanting kuda kuti bata kumeso. But when you're talking about mukada kuti izvo zviri legal, munogona kuuya that defense, but legality is not only about my statutes. It is about constitutional principles. That is where this issue becomes a problem. That is where this issue is problematic. Because they expect, the Augusta House to be independent, to act independently, free from any undue influence and in the public interest. And for this guy to come through and try to do whatever it is that he is doing in a situation whereby we are expecting, even though it is a long shot, even though it is a huge ask, we're expecting, these MPs to exercise their judgment without fear, without favor, or without any financial inducement. And then this dude, he comes in and then he throws, 3.6 million. He's injecting 3.6 million into the pockets of legislators at a moment that they are about to be debating the constitutional amendment. Does this compromise the independence of parliament? You might say, no, it doesn't. In theory, it doesn't. But in practice, it does. The timing is raising, questions here. Legitimate ones. Concerns. We have to ask, these questions. The moment. It is the moment, ladies and gentlemen. It is the moment. That is very crucial here. The most consequential decision that is about to be made by that parliament is being made by this. At a time where we're expecting integrity, transparency, and freedom from influence, they are being met by this. Zvinhu zvakaoma muZimbabwe. These guys munoona vachicomplaina. And a donation of this magnitude being delivered at this moment. What does it do? What perception does it create? What reality is it creating? We need to answer, we need to ask, those questions. And we need answers to those questions. What happened to the conflict of interest principles? What does the parliamentary code of conduct say? A private donation coming to an MP on the eve of them debating a constitutional amendment. It demands, scrutiny. It demands us, to speak about it. And the way that it is being, the way that the money is going to be dished out, it raises procedural questions. Under what legal authority would Mudenda receive, that money and distribute, that money? Private funds. Because that is not his job. Mudenda was not elected for him to administer public funds, private donations to MPs. That is not his job. We already have the Constitution, the Constituency Development Fund. It is there. It exists precisely to channel development resources through a regulated, auditable framework. And if this was a genuine development thing, why bypass, that statutory, mechanism? Why do that? A mechanism that exists, designed for that purpose, it exists, it is there. It's been a minute since the money has been channeled through that, mechanism. Why not make it, make the money come through that mechanism? And for the president to endorse this and say, oh, the principal is endorsed, I've got his blessings. Yesterday I told you about the Godfather mentality. Or I told you about the Godfather thing, that we have going on, in Zimbabwe. Even Pablo Escobar, he used to do, good things. But what was he doing? What was he doing? The pledge by Chivayo, ladies and gentlemen, is sitting in a very, 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 very dangerous gray zone. Doma iri kugara. Doma iri imomo. It is not authorized, by law, or it is not illegal, or it is not. But the constitutional principles that we are talking about here are the ones, that matter. Talking about the independence of that august house, avoidance of undue influence, and talking about the conflict of interest rules, the principles that govern integrity of the amendment process, the principles, all these things, they become significant and they become concerning. And I'm hoping, those that are learned people in law are paying attention, to this. I hope, they're paying attention to this. I hope, they do that. At this moment, because that is where it becomes, it becomes a serious, concern. Even though we know that, whatever it is, that they've given us, their intention anyway. But if they've given us, that intention, why this pledge though? What is this pledge, telling you and me? Besides, these issues, that I'm raising. Is everything okay? Is everything where go kuti munhu anototi izvo akupledha mari. When you see that happening, it means kuti izvo all is not well outside go. Trying to just buy people so that people, get to decide. But you cannot sell your soul for $10,000. Come on now. You cannot sell your soul. But $10,000 is adzimari dzinenge chingovharwawo to Arakashi unziwo an MP. We're opposition for that matter. Ah, come on, guys. An MP. Obonza atakupa ine mkono we 10,000. Vamweza vamwana vachipiwa magifts ekuma 50,000. Motikari dzekuma 250,000. Iwe MP obwanza izo 10,000. To sell, to make a decision. Yakakura kudaro. Does this pledge, in its timing and structure, uphold, undermine the constitutional requirement that Parliament acts independently, transparently, and in the public interest? That is the legal issue before us. So we need the legal gurus to help us on this aspect. Ngoma Clay, Magadieng. Clay Madondo.
Zvirise?
Avana mamuribo.
Ndiri boy zvakamira sei?
Lolo ameno kwamuri muri kugona sei?
10k paHarare yakawanda baba.
Imari nemvure.
10k mukadzondipeni ni ba. Ukuta mubari kupiko. 10k paHarare yakawanda baba.
Imari nemvure.
Aiwa, yongonzi usina ushadha ivi.
But wako avazoshandira here mi 10k.
Idhiri.
Idhira ndete?
Kutenga vanhu hapana.
Ya pakaipa.
Ko madi mambotaurana naNox kuti angotitirawo plan. Because kutaura tanzwa nengotaura pakuda action.
But background babo ni muri kutaure.
Isati tataura takungoda action. Kungoda signal yekuti ngatifambe takadai because zikutaura we've been talking for a very long time.
But I'm going to organize already.
Zvinoda pane anenge akatungamirira ane power like job scale akadedzera kuti ngatidai soka. Zvinenge zvinoita kapanje. Hazvingodi ordinary munhu ngoti unongomuka mangwana kuti ngatipinde mustreet.
But kune vamwe kune dzimwe nzvimbo dzakatoitwa kane maordinary people.
Ndinogona kutora nemafesi angu 5 vanondibelieve but tinosvika kuki tiri 5.
Aiwa kamutanga kuti nge pa 5 wenyu papo mumwana ndakadai so unobhilivisa wake vamwe 5 mubaya nokonobhilivisa wake vamwe 5 mubaya nokwabhilivisa saka pa 5 wenyu papo makutosvika 25 ka then makokana mwa 25 mubaya noku ngotoona kuti izo nhamba toita ndichitokura.
You know what? Paringoda even tendai biti job skala. Iva vanhu ivava vakavagara vane following yakakura vangodedzerawo kuti koza hapana kusiri kufa. zvekuzvawo zvekuda kutana machani kuti anzidoenda kukoti kunobuda chii kukoti pano chitengwa manema 10,000
Yeah.
hapana chinobuda
But mkomani kana mchita vati 10,000 imari nemvuro unodi
bvunzai munhu ari paground seni kuti 10,000 ukangopuwa wanzi imi ndinozisiya
kozvari kutorevesa dai
ndinozisiya ndikaimboita zvatirikuita
but inokuisa kuti though
kana yapera ndozoti dengeni kuti yapera
but inoitei
but right now nemanstitution iri paground ka zvinhu zvakaoma zvinhu zvakaoma handidi kunyepera
saka that is what actually makes this a bribe ka because ukaona munhu ari kupiwa 10 gida ka in this climate, in this economy, munovanzizo nenge 10 gida. What are you doing? You're trying to get that person to see things, your way.
Pandazvoona ndatanga kufunga ndikatomana manesa ari kupuwa $400 but
yes,
avari kuchema every day but munhu opa vanhu 10,000 nokuti kwadi kutenga hake mushonga muzvipatara alright at least
umweni zvake mushonga kana kanosiya pagedha zvakana graft atomoswera timubvunza atomoswera timubvunza
amen ndapererwa but zvoratidza kuti 2030 inogona kubudirira because vari kuvhara machannel acho ese amunofunga kuti vari kumabride.
Yeah, right. Handizonenge pa 10 gida untenga 2 mahonda fits over titi in drive.
Unongo wakutoshaya unongotenga 1 kako imwe wototsvaga zvinhu zvokuita kuti business yekuti in drive haisina mari. Unongotenga 1 mupersonal car yako imwe wototsvaga kukuisa mari kuno kuinvesta but paZimbabwe pakaoma hatimbodi kunyepera.
But this is where I don't get now, Kuti. There are still people wanotoona vachienda vari in their numbers, multitudes. Vachinowokera ikoko, vachiwokera zvinhu zvambasa rese. Munozvamza sei background ipapo?
Ina nditombozvibvunza kuti vana ava chiko kupuse chii
kana kuti yaye ungoti kuchero nhingi kwatawanawo nhingi achekubata tangoenda ikoko but moyo unenge usiko ikoko.
Ukaona umwe vanhu madira andotazanipe kunoshaya kuti kochii haisi nyekuti munhu hapana mwana wekuti hatombotumwe ikoko anotobudisa mari yake yekombi kutoenda ikokoko
kutobaya ega.
Yeah.